So I spent 6 months with the HP Omen Transcend 14, and I must say, I really like this laptop. But I also have found some things that I don't like so much over the past 6 months, especially as more devices have come out and I've been able to see the performance of devices with the same specifications and how they perform comparatively to the HP Omen 14. So let's talk about all of this and see if this is the right laptop for your specific needs. This video is brought to you by ASUS ProArt Laptops, the laptops built from the ground up for creators. More information to come later in the video. Now, first and foremost, I absolutely love how portable this laptop is. It is so thin and light. It has a fantastic form factor. It's very on-the-go friendly. And on top of that, it has excellent battery life with the Intel Core Ultra 9 185H. I mean, we're getting upwards of 10 hours and 30 minutes of productivity and streaming video playback. We're getting about 7 hours of Photoshop battery life and 3 hours and 45 minutes of playback battery life in Premiere Pro. Now, this is all set at about 20% screen brightness. You put the system into silent mode, battery saver mode in Windows. So it's not going to have the absolute balls to the walls performance that this device could offer when it's fully plugged into the charger and such, but it will give you good battery life. And so it encourages that on-the-go portability that the form factor resembles. Now, the next thing I want to take a look at is the keyboard. I have raved on and on about this keyboard. I absolutely love the color, the brightness. You can see as I block the light, like look how beautiful that keyboard is. It feels great under my fingers. It's quiet, it's snappy. And then also we have a super large shift key and a large enter key, so you're not going to miss that large backspace key. It is quite literally my favorite keyboard of the year. I mean, there's nothing that comes close to this keyboard. Match that with this really nice, solid trackpad that is fit very nicely to the chassis, and there's nothing like it this year with this combination. Now, you could look at the G14. It has a slightly larger trackpad because it comes up to the edge, but the combo of these two together is what really makes me the happiest. Here's a quick sample of me using the keyboard and trackpad so you can hear for yourself what it sounds like. If you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of the HP Omen Transcend 14, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. Of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, we've talked about some things that I really like. Let's take a moment to talk about some things that I don't love about this laptop. Now, first and foremost, that would be the upgrade path. And I understand this is a 14-inch, super portable, thin laptop, but I do wish they offered us more than one M.2 slot. Right now in this device, there's one M.2 slot, which houses your boot drive, and it is upgradable, but that means you'd have to reinstall your boot drive and get everything all set up. And for more amateur computer people or for, creative professionals, I mean, myself, I just want to be off to the races, no complications, no techiness, as it were. I've learned how to do this stuff while running this channel, but it's not something I want to fuss with. So I wish that they had just an extra M.2 slot that was unoccupied, that you could take a 2 or 4 terabyte drive, slide that in, and then immediately upgrade your laptop. That, or I wish they had a better port selection on this device. We do have an HDMI and 2 USB-Cs, as well as a headphone jack, and on the other side, 2 USB Type-As. But I wish they had a micro SD card reader on this side, because then we could quickly expand our storage without having to fuss with that boot drive. And on top of that, I do wish there was an additional USB Type-C on this side, because this laptop charges via USB-C. So as soon as you plug into the charger, you then only have one USB-C available to you. So there's a little bit of nuance and pickiness there in regards to the connectivity. And as you can see, we got a lot of fingerprints on this device. I know people hate when I complain about fingerprints, but I know you don't like fingerprints. And if you don't care about fingerprints, well, then get this device and not be concerned. But if you do, it is one thing that I notice really happens quite easily. Take a microfiber cloth or a muslin cloth here and clean it up, and then it's good to go again. But it fingerprints up pretty quickly. I literally wiped this thing right before I had started to film this 6-month walkthrough of the device. This video is brought to you by the ASUS ProArt PX13, a 2-in-1 laptop built from the ground up for artists, designers, photographers, and videographers. This laptop provides a 2-in-1 pen-compatible 3K OLED Corning glass display that is durable and color accurate. It weighs 3 pounds and is just over a half an inch thick. It has all-day battery life for productivity tasks, a durable aluminum chassis that exceeds stringent testing, and let's not forget about the ASUS dial to streamline your workflow, providing access to your most commonly used tools. Equipped with the AMD Ryzen AI 9 CPU, 32 gigs of RAM standard on every model, and an RTX 4050, 4060, or 4070, this device provides the necessary performance for even architecture and 3D modeling work. Check out my full review content of the ASUS ProArt PX13 within the playlist linked in the YouTube cards above or the description below. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the performance of this device, because it has an Intel Core Ultra 9 185H, an RTX 4070 GPU, and 32 gigs of RAM. So in theory, this thing should have excellent performance. However, it has good performance, and I'm going to talk about the main reason why, being the 65 watts of maximum graphics power. Basically what that means is the amount of power being sent to the GPU is topping out at 65 watts. Compare that to the G16, the ASUS Republic of Gamers Zephyrus G16, which has a 105 watt maximum graphics power. The device has the Intel Core Ultra 9 185H, an RTX 4070, and 32 gigs of RAM. But as you're going to see here on the benchmark charts, it consistently beats out the HP Omen. One of the main reasons is because of the maximum graphics power of 65 watts. Because this chassis is so thin and light, being able to cool this with the fans and the heat pipes alone wasn't quite enough. So they had to go ahead and throttle the GPU in order to make sure that the device didn't get too hot. And therefore, it's giving us a good performance instead of that great performance. You can see here in 3D modeling, Autodesk 3ds Max, Autodesk Maya, PTC Creo, compared to something like the G16, it is substantially less performance. I would not say it's bad performance. Please do not hear me as this device does not perform well. It does have good performance, especially when you think about devices in 2021 or 2022, where we were seeing performance for 3D modeling way lower than this device now in 2024. However, if you put this device up against another 2024 laptop like the G16 or even the G14, you're going to see this device come in behind those time and time again, especially for graphics intensive tasks. Now, as we go ahead and look at something like Photoshop, it does get a good score. It scores out a 6,793 for the Intel Core Ultra 9 version with the RTX 4070. As we look into video editing, you can see that it has a 2-minute and 30-second 4K export time. Very respectable. For the 6K video editing, 19 minutes and 24 seconds. Still a respectable export time. But compared to something like the G16, you're getting about a 4-minute better export time for the 6K B-RAW, which is a 9-minute 6K clip placed in Premiere Pro and exported out at full quality 6K settings. So I'm just trying to give you some perspective 6 months later on what is available on the market, how this device fits in, and the performance and what limitations you're experiencing if you were to buy this device. Now, all that to say, they've done an excellent job keeping this device cool and quiet. So the performance that they've had to kind of give away isn't to no benefit. This device had a max fan noise of 40 decibels during the 4K export test. It only saw 58 to 62 degrees Celsius during that export. And that export took only 2 minutes and 48 seconds unplugged from the charger, so while on battery power. So this device does have excellent thermals and excellent fan noise. And so they have engineered it very well. However, the performance is going to be lesser than some other devices. Now, going ahead and taking a look at the display, this is another area that is absolutely stellar on this device. We have an OLED display that reaches 487 nits of screen brightness at 100% sRGB, 98% Adobe RGB, 99% DCI-P3 at a Delta E of 0.87. This is a 2880 by 1800 resolution at 120 Hertz refresh rate. So fantastic panel on this device. This is packed with features. It's thin and light, on-the-go friendly, has incredible thermals, and the fan noise is minimal. The performance is very good. However, they did have to throttle some things because of the nature of this thin and light, on-the-go friendly device. I would absolutely buy this device if I was a 4K video editor, 1080p, even 6K, or I needed to do some work in Photoshop because of the super color accurate display. However, if I was going to get a 3D modeling laptop, I may consider another device that has a bit more of a maximum graphics power allowance in order to get everything I can out of that Intel Core Ultra 9 185H and the RTX 4070 that this laptop comes with. I just feel like the components are not utilized in this device as well as they might be in others from a performance standpoint. Remember, links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help you with your buying decision. I'll see you in the next one.